Hi, so I am Jennifer and I have a message. Oh, I was thinking about just the situation that I've been in recently, and the Lord said, make a video about it. And I'm like, oh, are you sure about this? But I got to talk about a recent situation that I've been through, and it's with my mom. And the reason why it's important to talk about this is to realize if you're 45 and up, you need to take care of yourself. You need to start paying attention to your health and your well-being, not just for you, but you need to do it for the people that are around you. It is not fair for you to completely neglect your own health, your own well-being, and then become a burden, a tax on someone else to the point where they now have to give up their life in order to be able to help you with a life that you're not even taking care of. I'll tell you what, so my mom had every single health condition that you could think of that relates to not caring for yourself. I mean, high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure. We went to go get her eyes checked out, and she has RVO. It's a situation in which your eyeballs are literally bleeding. I didn't even know that could happen. She had issues with her mobility. She could barely walk. If we were to do a simple task such as getting into the car and going somewhere, I had to put a step down so she could step into the vehicle. She couldn't put on her seatbelt, so I would have to help her put on her seatbelt. She would not put on her seatbelt, so I would have to say, hey mom, can you put on your seatbelt? So these are all things within her control. She had some other things going on. She had memory loss, she had schizophrenia, she had some other issues. But this here today is not for things that are outside of your control. Things happen in life where, you have dementia, you have Alzheimer's, you have things like cancer, unfortunately, that comes up. You have certain illnesses, things that are outside of your control. They have nothing to do with lifestyle choices you've made, with decisions you've made. It just happens to be a result of something that you now have to deal with that's outside of your control. In that cases, that is what family is for. That is what spouses, children, mothers and fathers, even if you still have them, that's what they're for, is to be able to care for you when you have not, to be able to provide what it is that you don't have. That is reasonable. You should want to care for yourself or care for someone else and give to someone else who's just in a bad space to no fault of their own. So let's take that off the table. If you don't have control over the bad situation that you're in, then those that are strong enough to be able to help you should be able to support you. I'm talking about the people that have decided to give up on life, to throw their life away, okay? And now you want somebody else to inconvenience their life, to give up their life for yours, for a life you don't even care for. That's what I'm addressing here today. And it's one of the things that bothers me, because when I think about it, I look at it and I'm like, she came and stayed with me for a little bit because she was staying with my uncle. He passed away. So now she came to stay with me. It was something the Lord had asked me about long before my uncle passed. So I was like, okay, I know this is my responsibility. This is what I'm supposed to do because the Lord asked me, and I said yes. But I realized, Okay, she has some of these mental issues going on. Okay, but I didn't realize it was going to require all of me. So at the time, I was married, I had kids, I was trying to take care of the house, I was trying to be able to do the things that God was pressing on me to do. I was trying to make sure I went to church and I got involved in those activities. I already had a full life. But when my mom came to stay, I had to get up in the morning. I had to wake her up in the morning. Had to wake her up in the morning. And that's where it started. Make sure she had her medication, made sure I took her blood pressure, make sure I took her blood sugar, made sure she was all set up for the day, let her get dressed, come back, clean up, do what I had to do, then go ahead, make her meals. Make sure she was ready for the bus. She had everything she needed. Waited with her out for the bus because she would fall asleep outside waiting for the bus. So I had to make sure I stayed out there, waited for her for the bus to come. When she left to go to the community center, I went and made sure I made appointments for her, following up on her Medi-Cal stuff, her food stamp stuff, her check stuff, Social Security stuff. I don't know nothing about trying to get all that stuff set up, established, trying to get all these appointments together with all of these different doctors, because she's got a mental health doctor, she's got her regular doctor, she's got the dentist, she's got the eye doctor. She's got all of these things going on, then making sure she has the toiletries, she has the groceries that she needs. And then all the while I am breaking my back when she gets home, making sure someone's home to receive her, making sure she has, dinner made up, trying to make sure she has companionship. All the while, she's still asking for sodas and cookies. We go to the store and she's asking for chocolate raisinets. She wants chips. She asked one day, hey, can we have Kentucky Fried Chicken? What are you saying? You're getting ready to go blind. You can barely walk. Why? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, and the Lord told me, make this video. Why? Because people need to understand the burden and the tax you're putting on somebody else by neglecting your health, by neglecting your well-being. Why would you want to put that on anybody else? Why would you want to put that on a spouse? Why would you want to put that on a child when it's in your control to fix it? When it's in your control to fix it. Don't neglect your own life. Don't neglect your own health. Don't neglect your own well-being and then expect somebody else to care for it. That's not fair. It's not right. And I'm just going to call it out. It's dead wrong. It is dead wrong when it's in your control. My life was turned upside down. What I realized was that in order to keep one life going, which was hers, that she didn't care anything for, it required my life. Ain't that crazy when you think about it? The cost to keep a life going was the sacrifice of another life, because it required so much of me. I mean, there's some of you all, I don't know what you're thinking, but you're thinking that as an older person, that, I don't know, maybe it's companionship, maybe it's a form of love, maybe it'll make that person better. This is what they're supposed to do. That's not right. That's not fair. That person is probably breaking. That person is taxed unfairly. That person is burdened unfairly. It is hard to take care of somebody else. Now, if that person can't take care of themselves, that's your duty. You should do that as a child. You should do that as a spouse. You should take care of another that can't take care of themselves. But when you can and you're deciding not to, it's wrong. It's wrong. These issues that you have that are result of diet and lifestyle, you need to get it together, because it's not fair for you to have somebody breaking their back and killing themselves, trying to find a breath, because they're trying to manage their own life, which is challenging enough as it is. And on top of that challenge, they're trying to manage your life that you're throwing away. There's something worse. There's something worse than dying. And I had to explain that. There's something worse than dying. And what's worse than dying? If the Lord should have you live another 20 years, would you want to live every day those 20 years blind? Not being able to see your great-grandchildren? So you're hearing life going on all around you, but you're not able to actually see it because of decisions you made. You don't get to see your great-grandchildren, your grandchildren grow. What's worse? Probably living without both of your legs, having to get them amputated. And now you become a burden to somebody else because of decisions you made. It's all comes down to what you put in your mouth and your ability to go move. Do you know God doesn't want you sickly? God doesn't want you not being able to walk. What? God doesn't want you having to lay in bed all day long because you can't move, because you can't do anything? Do you think that's what God wants you to do? Do you think that's the abundant life that Jesus offers? No. You got to take care of yourself. You have to. You have to take care of yourself so somebody else doesn't have to, because it's not fair to them. So I want to speak to the person that knows what they need to do, that have changes that they need to make. And instead of making those changes, are just doing nothing at all. I want to tell you what that feels like for the caretaker. It's hard. There's so much guilt involved in it. There's so much sacrifice involved in it. It's so much hard work involved in it. It's hard. Why do you want to invite hard on somebody else? It's not fun for the other person. They can't be the relational person they are to you because they're so busy just trying to take care of you. So whether it be, they can't just be a spouse. They can't just be a child. They can't just be that. They've got to be now the nurse and the caretaker. I was struggling with it, and I was talking to the Lord because something had happened, and I'm not going to tell her business. I'm not going to tell her story. That's hers. But it just so happens that her story touched me. Her business touched me, okay? I had to deal with it to where I had to go to the emergency room and take her at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a situation because of her and a decision she had made and a decision that she's been making. So I believe the Lord led me to put her into a nursing home. She had ended up moving rooms while she was in the hospital, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And it just so happens we were room next to an individual that had a caseworker that was talking about putting that individual into a nursing home, and was talking so loud to where I could hear in the next room. So I just happened to ask the nurse about if that could happen for my mom, and she said yes. So I was talking to the Lord about it, and he was like, yes, you need to go to a nursing home. And it turns out that she could go to a nursing home long term. Like, the Lord just worked everything out. It was amazing. But I was feeling guilty about her going to a nursing home. And the Lord said no. He reminded me, Jennifer, you offered her life. You offered her a chance to be able to get well, to be able to have all the health care that she needed, be taken to all of her appointments, have somebody to walk with her. I even got her physical therapy and was doing physical therapy with her every morning that the physical therapist signed her up to do. I mean, I was doing it all with her because I wanted her so bad to get well. But she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to stick to it. She didn't want to embrace it. She did it, but I think she did it because I was telling her, hey, this is the only thing I desire because I don't want you to die, and I'm not going to allow somebody to die on my watch. I don't ask for anything else but just for you to get well. But he was like, no, you offered her the opportunity to get well and she didn't want to. You offered her the opportunity to have life, but she didn't want to. So because she wants to be a victim, she wants to be sickly, she wants to have people take care of her, she doesn't want to use her body and walk. The nursing home is where people like that go. The nursing home is where people go so that they can get taken care of in that manner. Now, if she ever wants to live and have a life, we can revisit that. But right now, she wants to have somebody make her meals for her, give her her medication, take her for a walk, do all that stuff. She could do all that at the nursing home. He told me, he said, what? Because I was feeling really bad one day. I was like, oh, Lord, come on. And the Lord was telling me, he said, what is she going to do different at your house than she'll do at the nursing home? She lays in bed all day with that TV. She's doing that at the nursing home. She has an opportunity to go play bingo, lotteria, all that stuff, watch movies with the people there. She could do all that stuff at the nursing home. They got great programs there for her, great stuff for her to do. But what's the difference, Jennifer? The difference is you're not running around stressed out trying to make sure you're catering to her every need and you're feeding her and you're doing, that's now what the nursing home is doing. Now you get to just be a daughter. So I said, okay. He released me from the responsibility of caring for her because he says she won't care for herself. Woo! I'm telling you. If you are an individual that is choosing not to be well, don't place that burden on somebody else to deal with the consequences of you not deciding to be well. You go find yourself a nursing home. You go find yourself an assisted living space. You go find somebody else that's paid for it. That's their job to take care of somebody who's given up on life. You do that. When I realized she met all the criteria for a nursing home, because there's criteria for you to be able to meet the criteria, for you to be eligible for somebody to go to 24/7 nursing care. You got to be in bad shape. When I realized that, I said, I cannot take the place of someone that provides 24/7 nursing care. Number one, I'm not a nurse. And I don't have 24/7 to offer in that way. She needs to go to a nursing care because this is the type of level of care that she needs. So now I'm doing her a disservice trying to take the place of a 24/7 nursing facility. You've allowed yourself to get in such dire shape where you need someone around the clock available to be able to assist you. I want some of you all that the Lord has brought to this channel, because I was not going to make this video because it's a little strong, but the Lord was like, make the video. I want for some of you guys to look up the requirements for a nursing care. And if you meet the requirements, that's the demand that you're putting on somebody else. Your husband doesn't deserve that. Your wife doesn't deserve that. Your children don't deserve that. The people around you don't deserve that. Your niece, your nephew, they don't deserve to have to care for you if you can care for yourself. Why would you do that? Why would you put that burden on them? You need to decide today what you want to do. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Do you care about your life or don't you care about it? Because if you want to live, if you care about your life, if you don't want to be somewhere where you're in a nursing home, where you're tucked away somewhere, you need to start living. What does that mean? You need to get up every day. You need to move your body. You need to drink water. You need to get your sleep. You need to get your rest. You need to eat right. And you need to find a way to get to the Lord so he can strengthen you and help move you through that walk, to help lead you through that walk. Oh, Jesus asked the man, do you want to be well? What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Decide today that you want to be well, not just for you, for all the people around you. Decide that you want to be well. You understand? So we're looking up nursing facilities, because I'm talking to the people and I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can. What is it that you need? I don't want to wait to get to the last minute and be scrambling and not have a place for her. So is there anything I need to do so we can get in front of it? And they were telling me, they said they might not have a place out here in the city that I'm in. They're looking at a few cities over, actually. So it's about a 2-hour commute in some of these places. Somewhere between an hour, 2-hour commute. And as she was talking to me, I was just praying and talking to the Lord, because I wanted to be in alignment with what the Lord wanted me to do. So I'm like, Lord, what do you want? And then even at a point, I could hear the Lord say, slow down. You need to ask me. Slow down. So I'm like, okay, all right, Lord. Okay. And I told him, I was like, you know what? Wherever she needs to go is wherever you can send her, right? And the representative was talking to me about an assisted living situation, which, was really nice and was a place that she trusted. And I was like, okay, send her. And, she was saying it was, a couple cities away. And I'm like, okay, that's absolutely fine. I don't want to get in the way. I'll be inconvenienced, with having to make the drive. And the Lord had told me, he said, Jennifer, I've released you from that burden. I don't want you feeling like you have to go visit her every single day, that you have to talk to her every single day. He's like, I'm moving you into purpose. I'm moving you into destiny. And I can't have you so wrapped up in her that you're not able to move forward in what I have for you to do. So I actually want you to have her get placed in another city, and then you can go visit her from time to time. And actually, he said once a month. But I don't want you wrapped around that situation any longer. I released you from it. She's got her own life to live, and I need to work with her on the life that she has to live. You gave her a shot, you gave her an opportunity, and now you're released. So I said, okay, all right, okay. And I have to keep going back to, she had a decision to make. She could have. Some of you guys are in a kind of situation where it's doable. It's not ideal, but it's doable. You got people gathered around you. They're helping you. You're making it. But what happens if things go even worse? If things get even bad? Even bad. If things go south, then what? People got to leave work to deal with you. People got to call off work. I had to call off work that morning. I had to figure out what I was going to do. I had to figure out a whole new strategy. I couldn't go to work the next day. I didn't know what was going on with her. I couldn't have her at the house by herself with what just happened to her Like I said, there's a story to that. And based off of that story, I couldn't leave her alone. I mean, it was turning my life upside down. So I'm going to close on this message here. The Lord wants you to be well. Get your whole life together. Your whole life together. So that you're not a burden on someone else. Don't give up on life. There's so much more of life to give. God still wants to use you. I don't care what age you're at. The Lord doesn't say, okay, at 50, you're done. At 60, you could just lay out on the beach and retire. God still wants you to minister to other 60-year-olds. All that wisdom, all that life experience you have, God wants you to give that to someone else that's younger. Right? Now you're free. You're available. You have the space. You have the bandwidth that someone that is maybe 30 or 40 doesn't have. So now you have the freedom to be able to mentor, to give back to other people, to really serve in capacities that people younger than you can't. He still has a charge for you. He still has a purpose for you. He still has a mission for you. Don't let the devil think all there is Hallmark movies for you and bingo. The devil is a lie. Get up and decide today you want to be well. Start making some good decisions. Let your husband, let your wife, let your children, let your nephew, whoever's taking charge of you, let them see your life change from the inside out, and let them be inspired and motivated to do something great for themselves. The best thing you can do for somebody is to heal yourself. You get healed and watch everybody else benefit from the fruit of it. You want to be somebody great for your family? Heal yourself and let them watch how you heal. Let them see the possibility. Let them see the strategy. Let them be encouraged and inspired to be able to move to great health, to great life. Oh, make the decision today to be well. Make the decision to be well. Remove that burden from someone else and begin to take charge of your life. Let that person breathe. Let that person live. Release that person so they could take care of their families, their children, their husband, their wife. So they can walk in the direction God has for them. So they could walk into purpose. They could walk into destiny. Release that person. Remove the weight of your whole life that they have to manage and care for because of your poor decisions. And free them. Free them. Free them. Decide today you want to get well. Peace out.